If you're not using the profit boost these books are giving you, you are just not a profitable bettor. Even if they only allow you to place parlays, I'm going to break down the math behind using these boosts and show you exactly why you're leaving probably thousands of dollars on the table every single year by not using these boosts every time they give them to you. And I say this as somebody who historically was doing a ton of arbitrage betting and avoided these boosts because they were only for parlays and I didn't want to risk it. But I've started doing more of them. You can see, especially here in the last couple weeks. And you can see I've got over 25% ROI on these plays. Now I'm going to break down the math behind this because the reality is you're going to have different results than I am, but the math works out in the long run, and I'm going to show it to you in the next 5 minutes. So even without these boosts, you can be placing positive EV plays, and I'm going to explain to you what that means here. So you can see here over on OddsJam, we've got player made threes, Trey Johnson over 1.5. And so this is showing up as a 6.65% EV play. And what that essentially means is it's not any more likely to happen, but you're getting better odds than the market is showing here. So for example, Pinnacle, a sharp book, has this at minus 190. Even a softer book like DraftKings has it at minus 157, but we can get it at minus 142 on FanDuel. And that's with the market having these odds at around minus 165. So if we hover over this, you can see that the market projection for this is 62.5% chance, aka 1.6 payout. But we're getting a 1.7x payout because we're getting better odds. So now we're going to get into the boosts, and I'm going to use Sleeper for an example here. So you can see on the screen, right, from yesterday, we had a play that we got plus 196 odds on. But if we scroll down, you can see that the closing odds on this were plus 143. Now, when we add that 30% boost to the plus 196 play, it brings it to plus 285. So not only are we getting positive expected value, but we're getting a boost on top of it. And so what you see on the screen now is an implied probability calculator. So we have plus 143 for the odds here, which means that this has a implied probability of 41.15% chance of hitting. And again, this was based off the closed odds. So that's what we're going to use for this. I'm going to show you two examples here. This is the actual math behind this now. Stick with me for the next 2 minutes. You're going to understand this much better and you're never going to miss a profit boost again, I promise you. So we've got a coin that we're going to flip 100 times and we give it the probability of 41.15%. And we click toss. And then we go ahead and we see, okay, it got 40% here. So then we come over to this simulator calculator. This is where we're basically going to take those 100 coin flips, do that 20 times. So we've got over 2,000 bets placed is what this is basically like. You can see we have the fair odds of 143, which is what it closed at. And then we've got the odds we would get before the boost of 196. So you can see for the first one, we got 40 tails and we come out with $368 of profit in this first 100 coin flips. Now I'm going to speed this next part up just to show you what we get just based off the positive EV. And then I'm going to show you what we get if we added the boost to it. Okay, now you can see just with the positive EV before the boost, we walked away with about a 16.18% profit here. And we had $6,472 total dollars of profit. Again, this was just with a $20 unit size because obviously there's a limit on how much you can actually bet for a lot of these boosts. You can see we did have 2 stints here of that negative variance. And this is why a lot of people will stop doing positive EV or stop doing things like this because maybe these 2 periods come in the first 200 coin flips, right? But you had no clue that you were going to get 18 straight segments of positive EV there, but you had some negative variance and you stopped doing it. So that's why I say volume really matters here. Now let's change this, right? Because the reality is we didn't get plus 196. We got the plus 285 you're seeing on the screen here. So when we change this to 285, look what happens now. We go from the 16% we had to 51%. And we come away with $20,000 in this scenario, right? All because we used the boosts here. Now, obviously, anytime you add a boost to a already positive EV scenario, you're going to make more money in the long run. But I don't think people recognize just how much of it, and they ignore the boost because they don't want to do the parlays because they see, oh, I have to make this, plus 300 odds or something along those lines. And so they don't do the boost because of that. But if you're combining these positive EV plays to make these parlays, then it makes all the sense in the world to do this because, again, in the long run, with enough volume, you're going to come out on top. I know this video is pretty math heavy, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. And I appreciate you guys watching all the way through. Subscribe for more videos like this.